The structure of not-for-profits has always been of major relevance. Yet officials of not-for-profits are often uninformed as to the history of the not-for-profit sector and even their own agencies. When was the agency founded? In what state was it chartered? What was its stated mission? Where are the articles of incorporation? Is there a written mission statement? These are some of the more significant issues pertaining to governance, but of course there is more information that both professionals and board members should know. What is the structure of the board of directors or trustees? How are board members selected? Is there a governance or nominating committee on the board? Does a code of conduct exist? Is there a conflict of interest statement? Is there a personnel practice manual? What are the legal and corporate history and mission of the organization? All not-for-profits, especially those that enjoy a tax exemption, 501c3, must have a governance structure starting with the existence of a board of directors, sometimes referred to as a board of trustees, board of governors, or board of overseers. The different terms grow out of the unique history of each organization and the relevant language that was used during the time of founding. All organizations require the existence of a legal body or board if they receive tax-exempt status or allow their donors to contribute to a legitimate charitable enterprise. Sarbanes-Oxley. Many changes have occurred with respect to governance over the past 5 years. Some have been driven by federal and local oversight requirements and issues growing out of an enlarging philanthropic or charitable industry that has greater visibility and public scrutiny. At the federal level, the Sarbanes-Oxley, SOX law, largely directed toward publicly held for-profit corporations, has had an enormous impact on the not-for-profit sector, even though it does not directly apply to or govern their operations. SOX raised the bar for oversight, transparency, and accountability. The application of SOX-directed agency boards and individual members to seriously look at themselves and determine whether they possess the necessary knowledge, oversight, and system of review and accountability needed to effectively discharge their responsibilities. The effect of SOX was so immediate that an entire industry of consultants quickly emerged to assist agencies in increasing their accountability mechanisms and responsibilities. Boards learned that they should establish an executive compensation committee, audit committee to include independent participants, a nominating structure, and clear guidelines with respect to board conflict of interest and self-dealing. Board members of agencies took note, and in both large and small not-for-profits, a flurry of activity developed. Boards were both awakened and empowered to better understand their roles and responsibilities as directors. At the same time, these new requirements made some board members feel uncomfortable with respect to possible culpability. In some instances, board members of not-for-profits had been asked by their employers to accept membership based upon the for-profit's interest in and significant grant to that agency. After SOX, many corporations and corporate foundations questioned whether they were assuming liability as a result of this practice. The corporate leaders did not want to expose themselves to or become culpable for the actions of the not-for-profit board in which they had official representation. In many cases, they withdrew their nominee and discontinued that practice. It is unclear at this stage whether the discontinuance had any significant impact on corporate grant-making to not-for-profits. Many not-for-profits have found it more difficult to recruit directors, particularly from the corporate world, which has required agencies to find the funds to increase their directors' and officers' liability insurance policies.